Welcome back to the Raw Knowledge Podcast, guys, with myself, your host as always, Alex Connor, and here with some urgent updates. So I'm pushing in this episode instead of the usual guests, but that will resume as of next week with a lot more informative information. Now, as most of you are aware, here in Australia, I'm currently in Queensland. The gyms, as of today, are going to be closing at 12 noon. And I know for a lot of you around the world who are listening, you're thinking, we've been closed for a while. So yes, we're a little bit late to the party, but I think it's appropriate to just help dispel some myths and obviously clarify some certain areas and add some positive information and some best practices at this time. So I'm going to keep this one short, sharp and sweet, guys, and very much informative. So the first thing to know is I'm not a medical practitioner or a doctor, so I'm not qualified to comment on medical areas and practices of the infectious disease, so I'm not going to do that, but I will point you towards a more reliable resource because there is a lot of misinformation, hysteria and fear-mongering going on at the minute. Now, yes, this is a very serious situation. I'm not taking anything away from that, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of misinformation, so please don't believe everything you hear and read and take everything with a grain of salt. Think critically, be calm and be calculated. So the resource I would recommend initially, and this is just one, okay, is examine.com. They're one of the, if not the number one, unbiased research and in anything supplementation, etc. And they have collated a lot of resources for you to click to other resources where you can look at the myths, you can look at the best practices, the actual current updates which are coming in live and regular, and get all that information that you need from an actual relevant and legitimate source. So I will put that link in below, guys. That's examine.com. It's an amazing resource as well for you in any health and fitness realm. So that's one you probably want to bookmark and keep in mind. So the first thing is we're going to talk about mindset. Now, obviously, this is not a great situation. This is going to be quite shit for a lot of people, but it doesn't make it better by being negative and focusing on what we can't control or running around in panic and fear. Now, what we need to do, and this is easier said than done. Now, it's okay to be scared. That is completely fine, all right? It's a feeling, it's an emotion, and you can't control that. But if you let fear and panic take over, it will force you into unrational, dangerous, and compromising situations, okay? And that is because we have something called the fight or flight response in our body. So when we're under attack, okay, or say back in physiological, later or earlier periods of life, physiologically, we would have been, exposed to predators and prey. It might have been lions and wildebeest or whatever it is, and it's a fight or flight, and that's a good thing. If you're being chased by a lion, run. Or you would fight, etc., depending on what weaponry and what scenario it was. Or say if you were getting attacked by another rival village, you would fight or you would fly. So that is built into us, and that's something that we can't take out, and it is there, and it does serve a valid purpose. But because of the environment and the technology that we are now surrounded with, a lot of that can actually backfire on us and work against us. And I want you to have a little bit of think about that and let it digest in your mind. So what we are best to do in times like this is unite as one, have respect for each other, okay? We need to be calculated, pragmatic, and positive in our approaches. We need to be rational, and we need to think about things. Now, the main concern is obviously everybody's health at this point, and that is your main concern. Your main concern is to look after your health. Okay, now I know there's a lot of families out there, a lot of you have got children and kids, but think about this. If you cannot look after yourself, you cannot look after them. This is something that I talk about a lot with my clients, and it's something that I've learned over the years, and that is serve yourself before you serve others. Now that sounds selfish, but that is the way it has to be. Think about CPR. Think about when the masks drop on the plane. Who's the first person you put it on? It's always yourself. You come first, then the other person or the people of care. So keep that one in mind in this scenario. Don't be too quick to rush in and be too concerned about things that are not relevant to you or out of your control. And in that essence, focus on what you can control. We can't control the weather, we can't control the fact that things are shutting down, etc. So don't focus on those things and try to control them. Think about what you can control. You can get up, okay? You can get quality sleep. You can do your best to prepare good and nutritious foods, okay? You can do your best to not fearmonger and spread misinformation and get yourself worked up, okay? You can choose this time to be more proactive. You can connect with other people. You can be resourceful. This is going to take a lot of what I call lateral thinking. And although there's a lot of people who are suffering at the moment, which is not good at all, okay? We cannot focus on those negative aspects, and we must do our utmost to actually help those who are struggling by not spreading the infectious disease, by not doing things rash and radical, and by becoming united and working together as much as possible. Okay, so it's not an every man for himself scenario. If that happens, it may get out of hand and we will just end up in a worse position. However, I don't believe that will be the case. And the second point I want to make is community. And I've just touched base on that a little bit. So we need to become united. We need togetherness. We need respect. We need to think, okay? We need to act as one, as we would have done back in, again, the early days where we had tribes, and cities and communities. We need to think about, how can we be resourceful? Now, I just talked about lateral thinking. There's going to be a lot of positives that come out of this. You're going to have to think outside the box, okay? With a lot of things that you do, whether that's how to earn some money, earn some income, create some more resources for food, for shelter, for warmth. You need to be resourceful. You're going to have to think a bit laterally. You might have to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. You might have to get jobs that you don't want to have to get. As long as it doesn't compromise your health, your ethics, or your belief, I think that's completely fine. But be malleable, be ductile, and be adaptive. Resources. Now, obviously, I'm going to speak about the areas of expertise I'm qualified in, and I'm going to be doing my absolute best to provide you all with the best information that I can to keep you healthy, fit, active, and improve, and maintain your current body composition. So the first things first is, fortunately for me, I've spent a long time creating my Fearless Training United Academy, okay, which is a plethora and a multitude of resources on everything training, nutrition, and lifestyle. In short, it's the Netflix of fitness, okay? Now, what we've done is we've taken that price right down, and it's only $10 a week. So for those of you who can afford and want to help support the Academy and get this quality information, I encourage you to go over. You can cancel and subscribe anytime. So if you go in and you don't like it, stop, okay? But I guarantee the information in there is going to be relevant, not only for now, but for the future as well, and a long time coming. And we're going to continue to update that with the most quality information, not only from myself, but also some of the best professionals on the planet that know about nutrition, training, and lifestyle collectively. Every single thing you think of, it's going to be in there, and most of it already is in some way, shape, or form. Any questions or queries, guys, please feel free to reach out. However, obviously I'm going to be providing a lot of free information, as I do anyway, because I don't expect that people that are losing their jobs, who might be quite scared of income, are going to be forking out money. Hence why we decided to make the Academy the price that it is. Now, I'm going to be putting a lot of stuff on YouTube. I've already been preparing for the worst and expecting the best, because that's something that I learned a while ago. And I've been creating a lot of content for you. I've already got programs created, lots and lots and lots of bodyweight routines, calisthenics, plyometrics, functional stretching, all of those things that I'm going to be putting out for you in video format that you can all have access to across YouTube, across email, and all my social media platforms, okay? All of this is going to range from beginner, intermediate, to advanced. So anyone, anywhere, any ability will be able to partake in this in some way, shape, or form, all for you at the convenience of your home environment or wherever you may find yourself, okay? Home gyms. Those of you who have home gyms, you may, depending on your health status, want to invite a few, not many, people around. This might be a way that you can keep the fanfare high and the community together. So I'm going to band together with my fellow trainers, and I'm going to see what equipment we have, and we're going to try and put some things together in a safe, environment, again, to comply with, obviously, the governing bodies, to make sure that we're doing things ethically, pragmatically, and in the best interest of everybody else. If you've got any equipment, if you're in the area, if you have any resources, tips, or tools, please feel free to reach out. I would like to hear from anyone who has something positive to say and positive to give. This is the time to do it, okay? We're gonna have a lot of time on our hands, and this may be something where it's not gonna be a couple of weeks, like a lot of the forecasts say. This may be 6 to 12 months. We may not be in the gym for months. It's not the end of the world, okay? We're gonna be surviving, but if we can be more resourceful, we might create a better environment, and hell, we might even learn something extra as well. Now, in terms of what you can do and to slay some misconceptions, now look, if you're a beginner athlete, you're probably not even going to regress at all. And if anything, you're probably going to be able to progress. So physiologically, if you're new to training, the stress and stimulus that you need to actually grow and adapt and create new muscle tissue is very, very little. And for those of you who are more intermediate to advanced, okay, you'll be fine as well. You may not grow muscle, but you will be able to maintain it. There'll be a slight amount of atrophy, so losing muscle, if any, depending on your nutritional and movement status. But a lot of people think that you lose muscle very fast. Now, if you're a natural athlete, or someone who is not taking performance-enhancing drugs, and even still then, okay, with resistance training, it only takes a very small percentage, up to 1/3 of the stimulus you're currently doing to maintain the muscle mass that you have, and there are studies that show it's even less than that. So even though you've got to adapt your training, and you might need to train closer to failure and do more reps and sets because you're using body weight and other implements around the household, or even calisthenics and plyometrics, you will still be able to maintain a healthy physique. Remember, nutrition is going to be king, and sleep as always, and then supplement with regular activity. So with nutrition, guys, again, don't hoard, don't go out and buy things that are unnecessary. Make sure you've got enough food for your family. Think about utilizing items that are non-perishable, cheap, affordable, and then where you can supplement with obviously mainly whole foods. So think grains, okay? Think pastas, think rices, think lentils, okay? Think frozen veggies at a time like this. Try and get fresh where you can. Freeze your food if you need to. It might not be ideal, but these are things that you're gonna have to do. Oats, eggs, cans of tuna, cans of beans, things like that. Things that are cheap and affordable and still nutritious. Once again, I'm going to be providing a lot of recipes. I've got one coming out this evening. Now, this is the day of 23rd of March, okay, 2020. So if you're listening to this in the future, you might be looking back and going, whew, what a time. And if this is a few days later, that video will already be out. So again, I'm going to be providing a lot of information on nutrition, and this is a time where you can really get stuck into those things as well, okay? So don't think that you're going to lose all your gains, okay, or your body composition. You're certainly not, and I'm going to help you understand that pragmatically, and I'm going to unpack a lot of those principles as well over the coming months for everyone, and I'm going to be putting out that information completely free. And for those of you who want more, once again, you've got the Academy. Now, the positives. I'm an optimistic guy, okay? You think, what are the positives? Well, there's always positives, okay? This is a time to pivot, okay? This is a time that you can invest in your passions. You might have had that hobby. It might be a guitar. It might be some reading, some writing, something that you've got to catch up to. It might be reconnecting with some family members. This is the time to do that. This is the time to build that. You might be thinking about going to online. This is the time to do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. You have excuses or you have actions, okay? You can come from a victim mindset or a growth mindset. You always have a choice. No matter what you think, you have always a choice, okay? There is always a choice that you have, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do with that choice, okay? In terms of not being exposed to your screens, I would highly recommend not sitting at home, okay, and listening to too much garbage, okay, and watching TV and things that are going to disseminate information in a way that's going to increase your stress levels, okay? So by all means, watch the great resources that myself and other practitioners are putting out, but I wouldn't be sat there in front of the news, okay, or just constantly watching movies, etc. Do something productive with your time, okay? Sitting in front of screens all day, every day is not going to be good for your mental well-being, and it's not going to be good for your health status. So make sure you find balance. Read a book, move. This is a time to plan your day pragmatically. Get up, have a bit of a system. You might get up and have some gratitude. You might go for a walk if you're able to. You might sit outside in the sun if you've got that ability, okay? You might even just walk around your apartment. You might put a podcast in. You might do some stretching, okay? You might make your bed, go for a cold shower. There's many things that you can do and organize it into your day. This is a time to create better habits and routines and start to ingrain them so that when all of the luxuries come back, you can actually maintain a better lifestyle than the one you're currently living. Okay guys, I'm going to leave it there because again, I want to keep this one short, sharp and sweet, and I really just wanted to get some quality information across in my area of expertise and highlight a few key points which I think are quite vital for my audience and a lot of people around the world at the moment. Guys, we will get through this. I am confident, okay? There has been many things in history that have combated us and we have survived, and we will do it again. So we need to be together, okay? We need to unite, we need to be respectful, we need to be clear, calculated and concise on our approach. And as always, we need to stay fearless. Okay. Now, any of you who would like to reach out to me via email, okay, or contact me, want me to cover any certain specific topics or content, please do. My email is in the description below. That's alex@fearlesstraining.org. So alex@fearlesstraining.org, and you can visit all my resources and get those from fearlesstrainingunited.com. That's fearlesstrainingunited.com, international, worldwide, 24/7. Guys, stay safe, stay fearless, and I'll be chatting to you all very soon.